So tell me, a little bit more about kind of how your life starts to unfold. What happens next for you and kind of as you start to get into your, adult education and career.
Yeah. No idea what I wanted to do in high school. Not that one should. I think you and I talked about this, I think the kids these days feel like they have to know what they want to be and do and study. I did not. But I remember as a kid in Thailand, I remember somebody asking, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to help people with my hands and I also want to be able to teach. Something like that. So it was like the combination of healing and teaching.
Hmm.
And then I let that go, right? In high school, I was a good student. I was good in science and not math per se, but going into college, I thought, well, I guess I'm good with science. Maybe we'll explore science. And 90% of incoming students at Wellesley were pre-meds. So I thought, well, maybe I am a pre-med. So for maybe 30 seconds, I was a pre-med. And then I hung out with some of them and I did not want to be a pre-med. I didn't want to
Hmm.
be like hanging out with them. So
Hmm.
I still studied biology, graduated with biology as a degree, and left college not wanting to be a doctor. And by that time, I was already dating my now husband, who was going to medical school. So I got to experience medical school through him and very happy that I was not going into that field,
Hmm.
but still nagging this sense of wanting to help people and what to do about that.
Yeah, Kit, let
Um,
me just hop in there for a second.
yeah,
Um, because you use the words, I think you said like helping people, I can't remember exactly
using my
what it was.
hands.
Using your hands,
Yep.
right? Yeah, and so I mean, knowing what you do today, this is what you do, right? And you had that kind of spark of insight, and I don't know how much of this is like cultural in that it's like, Thai or Asian, um, because I had the same thing, right?
Mm,
Like my parents were born in this country, I was born in this country, and I also had expectations of, kind of what was best for me. So I don't know if it's just like a societal thing, a generational thing, how much of it's a cultural thing. I mean, I don't know. And I'd love to hear your thoughts, but it does seem like in both of our cases, maybe there's this spark that happens somewhere that kind of gets pushed down, or put off to the side because there's some other kind of like energy or dialogue or narrative that says, actually what you really need to be doing is over here and do that. And so like even knowing you didn't want to go med, you still go biology,
mhm.
and um, you end up in the med world with your husband. And I'm just kind of wondering, like, how do you unpack all of that? Like, was that just your journey and your kind of path to by really kind of having to find your way through it and let go of it? um Tell me kind of how you see all of that.
There were definitely a lot of shoulds that were not explicit. Um, I was known, like identity wise, I was known as a good student. And yeah, in Asian cultures, good students become doctors, lawyers. I mean, there weren't that many
Hmm.
options. My teachers in Thailand in elementary school took my mom aside and told her that I should have been in a different class. There was a time, actually, it was just 1 year when we could choose which route to take. And I actually chose humanities because I wanted to do humanities at that point. I think it was like language and arts and literature or something like that.
Hmm.
And I didn't choose science at that time. And that was when the teachers were confused because why is this smart kid doing humanities and not science? So that probably got stuck in my brain throughout more schooling. And and yeah, it was the brain itself was able to do some science, but Brett, I am not a hardcore science and math person. Like,
Mhm.
don't give me too many things to like read and figure out. And chemistry was my nightmare. Oh, physics was
Mhm.
worse.
Mhm.
So at some point, I realized like I am not actually somebody who can or want to um, fulfill that expectation as a smart Asian kid.
Mhm.
So I am super grateful that my instinct, my intuition said, no, don't be a pre-med, but maybe still give yourself that option
Mhm.
of studying. Because I do like
Mhm.
biology. Like it was super interesting. But
Mhm.
hindsight, now that I have kids, this age, choosing to do things, I hope that I can be helpful to them if they come to me with questions
Mhm.
of what should I study? Because
Mhm.
that was not available to me. My parents let me do whatever I wanted to do.